Hey everyone, hope everyone's doing well. Welcome back to another video. I was just watching a video from Ivan Durgic. I'm not really sure how to say his name, but the Ivan Squat Everyday guy. And he was talking about enjoying doing his own programming and kind of having that control and kind of figuring out things on his own. And him wanting to kind of figure out things on his own is a big reason why I enjoy doing a lot of the programming stuff on my own and have for a while. And it's the fun part of the process, because obviously everyone wants to get stronger and improve and all of that kind of stuff, but I get some sort of sick enjoyment about figuring out things on my own about what works for me specifically, because a lot of what you hear and see are things that work generally, but you will never know what works for you specifically until you try a variety of movements, analyze your performance, and then objectively look back at what's improved it and what hasn't. And I think when you're doing your own programming, you have to start by doing a variety of things. Find a program, do that program, adjust it, do whatever, but analyze or track your progress, track whatever you're doing, figure out stuff that works, keep note of it, and then do something different, come back to that, and then you'll eventually figure out, every time I do pause squats or snatch push press, this or this happens, and every time I do this movement, I have this and this happens. You'll figure out things that work and don't work, that hurt, that feel good, whatever it happens to be. Continue to do that without being paralyzed by the analysis of, well, why does this work? Why doesn't this work? Do what works, get stronger, whatever, get progress, and then kind of figure out, well, I guess maybe it's this, because you may not know the exact mechanism from which something works or doesn't work, but if it's working, continue to do it, whether it makes logical sense or not. An example that I'll use is the snatch push press for me. Snatch grip push press, so behind the neck, snatch grip push press up. I used to never really do that movement because I tried to do things like overhead squats and snatch balances and movements like that to work on that full squatting movement that relates to the snatch, because for my background, during a very similar movement to a snatch in that range of motion seems like the logical thing to improve the snatch. And I think for a lot of people it does, but whenever I do the snatch balance or the overhead squat, I end up having to think more about my wrist, and for whatever reason it just doesn't feel good on my wrist to do that movement, the overhead squats and balances. But if I do snatch push press, I can do sets of 5 at very high weights relative to my snatch. I can do them very frequently, and I enjoy doing them. Just like I don't enjoy doing overhead squats and snatch balances, I enjoy doing the snatch push press. So I'm going to work harder at those. This is me thinking back about, because at first I did the snatch push press and I saw someone doing it. I was like, oh, I'll just do it one day, and then I PR'd my snatch 4 days after doing it. And I had done the movement before but never really pushed the weight on it. And then I was like, well, that was weird. I don't normally PR my snatch. And so, you don't normally PR lifts on just all the time. So when you do, you kind of think about, well, what did I do this last week that, led to this happening? And that was a big difference. And so I continued to add it into training sessions, and I've continued to progress in the snatch. And I didn't really know the mechanism from which it was helping to improve. I just knew that it was. So I'm not questioning it, I'm just doing it. But now, thinking back about it more, because I've done it for so many times now, I think because I like it, because I work harder at it, I'm able to get more of a benefit from a movement like that than a snatch balance or an overhead squat. And because it's a very easy movement, I'm not mentally taxed doing it, and I can hold very maximal weights, which for me is from what I found, is a very nice thing to do. To just kind of build the muscles that you need to hold heavier weights and to build that stability in general, even if you are not squatting all the way down. So I've kind of figured that out later, but when I first started to do that movement, I was like, I don't know why this is working, but I just PR'd my snatch, and I've done this a couple times, and all my other training has been pretty much the same. So I'm just going to continue to do this, and so I'm trying to be. Well, that's how I am with a lot of my training, and that's how I've always tried to be. And I think for a lot of people, that would be something to do in general, whether you are coaching yourself or coached by someone else, is to keep track of what you're doing and keep note of when good things happen, what was happening prior to that training. Because it could be, for me, if I'm on summer break from school, I may have some good progress in my lifting, That's also because I'm not working. So like I have all day to relax and then go and train. So I have like a huge, recovery benefit in the summer. And if I'm in the middle of the school year and I'm PRing on a lift and I only changed, I added a snatch push press or something, then I have to be aware of that as well. And I think this commentary kind of adds upon what Ivan was talking about. His is that process of figuring out what works and continuing to do that is the fun part of training, and why I like coaching myself and doing my own programming and figuring out things of my own. Is you get more of a joy out of it than if someone just tells you what you need to do, and doing what someone else has, because you can adjust a lot better for yourself because you know how you feel. And if you know enough about physiology and exercise training and stuff like that, then you can do things that are logical in as far as like the exercise physiology of it all. But once you figure out things and PR things, you're like, I did that. Like, that wasn't someone's program that I bought. This wasn't the coach that told me. It's like, this is literally just my own will that I decided that I'm going to work really hard, and then things are going well. And what I've noticed throughout my time training is that whenever I do my own stuff is when I make my best progress. Whenever I follow a program, I do sometimes make progress, sometimes I don't. But whenever I do my own stuff, it's always better than when I follow a program. And I wish it would be easier if I could just follow a program, but I think it's better in the long term for people to adjust on what they need to do and just to continue to get better. I do apologize, this one was a bit longer, so there may be a little black screen at the end. I'm going to go do the training session that you'll be seeing in this video, so no commentary on the exact lifts that I'm doing, but I was inspired to do the commentary before I went to the gym, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Hopefully everyone has a great day, and I'll talk to you all in the next one. Peace.